Dreams are a series of thoughts. Imaginations are emotions occurring during sleep. An experience of waking life, having two characteristics of a dream. A visionary creation.
Clean some of that energy while we're getting started, baby. World, this is You Woke Now What, and I am super excited to be here with you guys. Listen, this has been a long time coming, okay? You have two divine sisters coming to you, ready to bring you so much through spirituality, health. Our vision here is just to connect men and women, assisting through various healing modalities for the renewing of the mind, rejuvenating the body, and rebirthing the soul. All your questions about what is spirituality, what is this, what is that? I mean, it's a very vast a lot of information going on around, and we wanted to create a platform that you could come to and we just give it to you. With that being said, all right, we're gonna get into our first episode. Hey. Hey. And I'm burning some Palo Santo. If you all do not know what Palo Santo is by now, it's a cleanser. It cleanses your energy, baby. Okay, get everything that you don't want away from you. All right, and that's just quick like that. And I'm lighting a gold candle for a little success, wealth, protection in here. Just little tidbits on things you can do to energize your space, clear your space, and I give it to you, my beautiful sister. Hi.
My name is Jack Noir Moon, and welcome to You Woke Now What? Yes. First off, I want to start with congratulations and thank you for being here with us. We are so honored to be present in this moment right
Yes.
right now. As a matter of fact, speaking of presence, we are excited to be here with you all, to walk alongside you, to support you, to assist, and begin this beautiful journey together. What we really came here to do. So let's get to it. No more time to waste, right? So let's get to it. First episode is we are who we say we are.
We are who we say we are.
We are who we say we are. Well, who are we?
Why don't you break that down for us, baby?
You know what? I would love to. So who are we? Who are we? Who do you believe that you are? Who do you believe? What do you believe? And how did you even come up with that belief? Well, let's explore. Let's explore deeper into that eternal question that only your true self can answer, really. And I mean, like I said, we're just here to walk with you, to support, and you doing all the work. We're all individuals doing all the work, collectively. And do you believe you are who you say you are? Do you believe you are who you say we are? So let's start off, I guess, by just pulling up the good old book, that ancient book. We can start with that one, since it's an ancient question. Who am I? So let's go ahead and start with
Drum roll, please.
Matthew chapter 16. So, whom do you say I am? Whom do you say I am? Whom say ye that I am? Next, we're going to go to. Do I get a drum roll?
Oh, yeah, of course. Drum roll.
Thank you. John 14:20. And I am in my Father, and ye in me, and I am you. I in you. And I in you. And next, we're going to go to seek only the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you. For I know the plans that I have for you. And be still and know that I am God.
Be still and know that I am. Be still and
Know that I am. I am. I am that I am. I am the door. What if I told you that you have the key to the door, like the door? The door that you've been seeking all the answers to, and it's been seeking you all along. And and now that you're woke, now what? We're gonna open that door. That's what we're about to do. We're about to open that door. We're gonna open pathways. We're gonna open all kinds of stuff. And you know what? It might get a little scary. I'm not even gonna promise you that it won't. But however, we're gonna work together. We're gonna connect, and we're going to find the tools within ourselves to make it the most pleasurable journey. I mean, that's all I can say. And just, we're gonna learn how to enjoy the ride. Just be there.
Enjoy
So
the ride. I like that. Enjoy the ride.
yeah, just enjoy the ride. Every step of the way, every moment, and that's what this is leading to.
Mm-hmm.
This who do we say we are? This is leading to getting to that point where we can be there, here, in the now. Connect to that I am. That I am presence. That being. That dimensional spaciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That kingdom of heaven.
Of heaven. You know what? You made me think about something. I was once asked, and like on this journey, when you're so-called being awakened, or waking up, you go through a lot of changes, right? And you come across different energies and different people, and you're applying some of the knowledge that you come across, so that you can have wisdom, right?
Right.
So as you're going through this journey, you made me think about when you bring up the whole belief thing, believing in yourself. I had this one friend, and he asked me, "How do you know all of this stuff is real? I hear everything that you say. I hear everything you talk about. How do you know it's real?" And you know what I told him?
Girl, what you tell him? I know it's good. I know it's good. I'm ready.
It is not. I am not here to prove anything to you. I am here, just like Tupac said, I'm here only to spark your mind to believe in you, so that when you start believing in you, you will start to know in the all.
Yes, and when you spark, that's all it takes is one spark to start that fire, to
That's
get
it.
there, to ignite something within you. And that's basically, I mean, that answer, first of all, it was great, because it just, you basically redirected that person back to themselves.
Themselves.
Because, and it's funny that that was the question. Who do you believe? What do you believe? And how did you even come up with that belief? Well, let's explore. Let's explore deeper into that eternal question that only your true self can answer, really. And I mean, like I said, we're just here to walk with you, to support, and you doing all the work. We're all individuals doing all the work um, collectively, and that's what makes this so amazing. Okay, so any inquisitive question should be asked, especially when um, we're looking into truth, and nobody can tell you.
Mhm.
Nobody can tell you that.
Mhm.
But let me tell you, that true self,
That true self.
that true self, when you start to reconnect with it, it's within you, and it's just talking, and that's going to be part of this journey, is to wake up that innate, true, ancient part of ourselves that's been there, and that's why I say welcome back home, because let's be honest, you know these things. It's just been hidden, and like I said, it's hidden within you, and so we're gonna open up some doors, because he said, "I am the door. I am that I am. I am the door. I am the way. I am the light and the truth." So let's get through some truth.
I am the beginning and the end.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am. I am.
I am. And
Let's
listen,
go from there.
listen, it also made me think about what Apostle Paul said. We cannot, people want to know, well, how can I start to believe in myself? What did Apostle Paul tell you? Be not conformed to this world, but be you transformed. How?
By the renewing of my mind.
It's right there. It's right there. We don't even have to try to figure out what it says. It's right here. This thing is so powerful. Like, it's so powerful that they call these our mini computers, right? And just think about all the neurons and nerves and all that thing that's connected to our body. Our vessels are literally.
Love it that you're saying that. I love that you're getting into, because this this podcast is, we touch on so many things. We talk about health, right? Spirituality, lot, but it ties together, and you talk about neural pathways, and all of the the mind being a computer,
Mhm.
right? And that's what this is. We're basically transporting ourselves and searching within ourselves, and finding ways to do that, so we can unlock those doors, those pathways. We can reconnect those neural pathways through health, spirituality, all of this stuff. We're fusing together so much that has been lost.
So much that has been lost. So much that has been lost. And we have given our power away. And it's time to bring it back. It's time to bring it back. And it's not gonna just happen in a flash. Well, maybe, who fucking knows. But the more that we individually work on ourselves and take that power back, you got to think about it on a constant basis. We started, like you said, we started with the Bible, and we had to reconstruct our minds, even with starting from that book, because like coming into consciousness, some people will like throw it away. As I went through the journey in the process, everything's a process, right? Look,
Mhm.
I had to pick it right back
Pick
up.
'em.
All
Go
I
ahead.
had to do was change the view. I had to change my mind. I had to change my mind, and I'm so glad that it happens like that, because it brings you 360. It brings you right back around. It's like,
Right.
no, it's there. You just have to look at it differently.
Yes, yes, yes. You have to look at it differently, and even um, back to when we were told, when we're told this is what this means. Now reading it, I can only speak for myself, but now that I read it through like a totally different lens,
Hmm.
and just the resonance within me, like we when you start to connect with yourself more, like you don't look for anyone else to tell you what's true. You feel it.
You feel it.
You feel it. And that's what sometimes reading this work, because that's just a few scripts. It's so many in there telling you who you are. And I'm like, man, all this time, why didn't y'all just get to that? Like, you know?
Like,
But I can understand, like, just like the truth is hidden in that book, and
mm,
it's more than just the truth is hidden in all of us, you know?
oh, you just made me think about the is it the Hopi creation story?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Where did
That's
he
exactly
hide
right.
it? Where did where he, he hid it in them, right?
He hid it in them, where he knew that they would never look. He knew that they would not look within themselves. And that's why we are here today, because something has been urging and pulling on you. I don't know what this is. I don't know. This folks, I don't even look. That urge, that yearn, it's like magnetized. It's like it's just pulling you in.
Mhm.
And it's sometimes it's just a lot. It's so much to just take in, and it can be overwhelming, and we know that. That's why we also know that when you awaken the unconscious mind, um, it can be it can be a difficult transition, because
Mhm.
really you start to question, what is even real.
What's
Is
even
any
real?
of this real? Does any of this matter? You can start asking all these questions that, no one can really answer but
That's
you,
true.
but you. And so, yeah, so it is like the the Hopi Indians, which, yeah, I love that story. It's hidden within you. And we're all trying to find all the keys to all those and reconnect. And, some doors that may not even have doorknobs, they may not have a keyhole. But the more we start working and healing,
Mhm.
it starts to reappear. I didn't even know that this hallway existed. It is just popping up. Like,
Mhm.
appreciate what is that now, and that presence, and continue to be eager for what awaits, because I'm gonna tell you, on the other side of the door, I know what's back there. But the fact that you're ready and you're here now, like, that just shows you're taking that step, because a lot of people just knowing that something unknown is on that other side is enough to be like, you know what, I know what's right here. And yeah, it kind of, I'm not cool with it, but at least I know what this is, and it's comfortable. But I don't want to be more uncomfortable over there, because that's always a possibility. So, you you took that step. What feels right to you, you know?
And that's the key part to it. Take what
Leave what's
feels
not.
right to you. You know what thing about that is, when someone says something to you, it's gonna spark so much in you. You're gonna be like, okay, let me go search on this myself. Let me go do some inner work, searching. I'm not gonna lie. You it's gonna you don't have to. Some people say, some people are against reading, because they say everything we need to know is inside of us. But let's be real, we're so detached from some of this stuff that we need that mental exercise. You know what I'm saying? Like just actually sitting down and having that book in your hand and reading, you need that mentally anyway to take you away from all these gadgets and other things like that. You see what I'm saying?
The unconditioned um, awareness
Mm-hmm.
and how it opens. It's like I explain this to people how because it's funny how this is our first episode. A lot of things have been coming up lately. So many things, and as we deal with um, different relationships in our lives, and you start to, um, because you're constantly asking these, you're constantly seeking. It's never really there when you learn the basic tools to how to get there a little quicker, a little better, and that's that be still and know that I'm God. When you say be still, that means be still, silence. And it's not going to be in the beginning because you have to understand when you were conditioned, when you had a conditioned awareness, conditioned um, uh, thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
everything just is just always noise, distraction. And so it's not going to be like, okay, overnight, all that stops. However, you start to find the silence in between some of the words, some of
Mm-hmm.
the thoughts, some of the uncomfortable feelings. And if you just sit there just for that brief little second, then it starts to grow and expand, and it's more and more. And you start to grow and expand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you start to realize that you're part of the all. And that's ties back to that the I am.
I am.
Because he is saying, I am in my Father and ye in me.
Mm-hmm. I
and
am.
I I and you. And this coming into this space of finding that the silence and being still, you start all that noise starts to quiet and things that are people outside of you are telling you, you're like, oh, I don't hear that anymore. And then you start to hear this voice within you say, no. You thought that when this person did it, they caused you to feel it. No, they didn't cause, but you start to see, whoa, you look at everything differently. You look at
Mm-hmm.
your relationship and you start to look at you most importantly because you start to realize, I mean, no one but me.
I meet no one but
I
me.
mean, no one but me. So really what you're doing is you're reflecting back to me, the I am.
Res- res- Speaking of reflections, let me. I wrote this down. Okay, so wait. Okay, so this is from Neville Goddard. If no one ever has ever studied, ever listened to, I suggest you, soon as you done listening to us, go listen to Neville Goddard, okay? And it's a few more other wonderful teachers that we're gonna give to you
Yes.
so that you can go learn just like we did and get that knowledge so that you can apply to have plenty of wisdom. But never accept true of others what you would not want to be true of you. To awaken a state within another, it first must be awake within you. Do y'all understand what that says?
Mm,
If
yes.
if I'm constantly projecting this thought of somebody else being trifling, being this kind of person, that and that may be a fact that there are certain actions or their experience and their actions that came from their experience may be showing, excuse me, that their characteristic. But in the essence of our being, we are, there's nothing but one God. So when I say I am speaking of all, even the person I hate. And I hate them so much because you know why? Hmm?
Why? You tell me why.
Reflection. Reflection.
Reflections. And you know what, when you start to see the reflection, and let's get to that part, to getting being able to see your reflection, because I know that, again, we y'all, this is going to be an uncomfortable journey, okay?
You evolve in chaos. You stay stagnant in comfortability.
Correct.
Y'all hear that?
That's, I mean, growth. You're moving. You're evolving. But back to what you were saying. Sometimes when you start looking in that mirror at first, it may be difficult because
Mm.
certain things come up that you may not be ready to deal with at that time. It's not all black and white. It's not all light, dark. But there's dark, but guess what? That's okay. We deal with all of these things. And so I wanted to give an example of something that came up with this recently, of me
Mhm.
having to see myself, and not it creates accountability, because
Mhm.
a lot of times we've been told to blame other. Oh, well, what did they cause you to feel that? But you start to realize that nobody can cause you to feel anything but yourself, if you allow them to. And then you start to say, well, you know what? I don't even like this feeling when I give that power away to allow someone or to have me feel any kind of way. You know what I mean? And you start to take your power back. Like you said, we're reclaiming our power piece by piece, and that it starts with us. And so we can't heal our relationships outside of ourselves unless we first do some self reflection. And so yeah, my personal experience this week was with reflection is I was dealing with someone. I was like, you know what? They were making statements, and I felt like it was constantly like I felt like they were trying to limit me. And now, mind you, when you start to wake up, you're like, limitless possibilities. However, you can't say that to everybody who's, still conditioned. They're like, what? No, babe, let me put you back in this box. You are this, you're that, this, these labels and categories. And I was just like, and inside I'm like, no, I'm like,
No,
no,
I'm
I'm
not
pretty,
there.
I'm not going to allow.
Mhm.
So but it was judgment. But you know what? It allowed me to do and say, well, this person, I did have, a good conversation, but it wasn't in a, well, you're criticizing me or judging me, so let me it was more of a, you know what? What reflection am I getting? And
Mhm.
it had me question, well, have you been judging yourself?
Mhm. Mm.
And guess what the answer was?
Mm.
That's something I realized, well, in ways it's always been easier for me to give and show compassion for others, because a
Mhm.
lot of times we've been raised to have manners, be polite, and put other people's needs and feelings in front of our own. And then sometimes we just get lost along the way, like what? Like it's just a lot. And so I had to say, and then all this noise of this is what you should believe, and I'm like, no, I don't. That doesn't feel right to me. But society and everyone out externally is telling you. So when you start to quiet that noise, takes you back in, and you can start to hear. And so that voice inside said, well, have you been judging yourself
Mm.
harshly? How compassionate have you been with
Yourself.
yourself? How
Mhm.
compassionate? And then I had to think about that, and so it took me out of the blame that you made me feel like, this and that. Like, no, there is no blame. There's no blame for that person or me. And so your relationships start to flourish and become like beautiful. And you start to realize, all this time you've been giving a lot of your energy. You wonder why you're exhausted and like, and when you run across this, you will still run across people who that's just what they get pleasure out of trying to, like, oh, look at that light just floating. Who she thinks she is floating through here? Like, so they're like, let me come. And then guess what? But you, and then let me say, it's really gonna piss me off when you still continue to float on by, and you don't even exchange, like, you don't, because nothing outside of you can take you there unless you allow it. And
Unless
so,
you allow it.
yeah, because
Mhm.
so when you so when you seek only the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added onto you. That kingdom of heaven is within you, and all things will be added onto you.
All things. All things.
All
Uh, you know what? You made me when you was talking about judging yourself and um I thought sometimes being in our mind could be the best or the worst place to be, depending on what you are thinking.
right,
Because
right,
our our subconscious and our conscious mind are constantly at play. Constantly. But that subconscious mind is more powerful than that conscious mind. Because guess what?
it's already speaking.
Everything that it takes in, it believes. It I don't care. It doesn't know whether it's a truth or a lie. It doesn't know whether it's right or it's wrong. It doesn't know. So whatever you tell that subconscious mind, it's believing. It's
Believing.
believing. And it's
And the more you tell it something, the more it's gonna believe, and the
repetition.
repetition. And
Mhm.
it's gonna get stuck. So even when you start, and that's kind of what this journey is, because we've been told so much shit. Be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
So if
And
you're
that's
gonna
what
be in your mind, at least feed it life.
feed it
Don't
life.
kill it. Don't kill it. Because
Uh,
the power's in the tongue, right? Go ahead.
right, right. No. So I just wanted to just bounce off of that. Like it it's really it's a balance. And that's what a lot of what we're gonna get into is, because a lot, mind, so when you start to have that stillness and sit still and be still and know that you're God, the noise, the chatter starts to slow down, and it allows you to connect to the heart. And that, in a sense of the example I just gave you about the judging, it was able to divert, because my mind would, think about it, the noise in your mind, oh, they meant this, and this is what like, you start to hear all this stuff, and you're like, okay, but because the quieting of that noise, I was able to reconnect back to my heart and know what experience I could have. And
Mhm.
that goes back to the thoughts too, because if the more we create more pleasurable, more joyful experiences, the
Mhm.
more we can start to change those negative thoughts, right? Because I could easily be like, you know what, you're not gonna put me in this, tell me out, but it wasn't even, it didn't even have to go there.
Right. You know what you also did? You controlled your emotions. And you know how powerful that is? When you start to be a person who can take and truly feel that emotion they're feeling and not be so quick to just react, but step back and think, approach the situation or whatever it may be in the manner that works beautifully for you, most importantly, but for everyone involved.
Everyone involved, right?
It's like if you had to control your emotions, you had to stop, wait, because you could have snapped. Wait,
Yep, yep.
hold up. But you know what? You know what? Let me ask you something. Since we're talking about that, like we have to. This is kind of a question and a statement at the same time because I want you to piggyback off this. We have to, like, be careful and not let people project onto us too.
Correct, correct.
So, at what point do you start making that? Because we got to have discernment, right? We got to have
Correct.
discernment.
You have
And
to.
do we start making that disconnection? Oh, you're projecting instead of wait, let me look. That goes.
Correct.
This can go back into that accountability thing, right?
Right. And that's too, you'll start to weed through the relationships and friendships that are part of your highest good, because those other ones will start to fall off when you make those um slight change. You, first of all, you start to see things, and you, like you said, the projecting, and it goes back to you and how you, and having discernment and knowing, being able to differentiate what's mine and what's not mine, and then what's not mine, you begin to create these boundaries, these healthy boundaries, so you can have healthy relationships. And those, let me tell you, those people who don't know how to appreciate or respect your boundaries, they'll start dropping off, because there's only so many times, you'll realize, well, you know what, if you really respected and valued me, you would not keep, if I've told you this is what this boundary is. And so those that like to project, or their things onto you,
Mm-hmm.
you can start to use that discernment to be like, you know what, that's not mine, that don't belong to me, and here you go, you can take that back and go back where you came from. But
But no,
I don't want it.
it's usually the ones that will start to fall off when you start working on yourself.
Right. And you still don't have to step outside of who you truly are when you connect to that infinite essence. Believe that you are. Do you
And
believe?
right.
Do you believe that you are a creator?
Mm.
Because you are. I can't tell you that though. You have to look within yourself and go on.
Girl, listen. When I tell you that no one can like force, no one can, no matter how much someone tells me, you got this, you got this, you got this. Guess what? Guess who's gonna have to say that to themselves?
That
'Cause
that
I
I.
was okay. That I am.
Mhm.
I was just I'm starting a new practice. And I want you guys to know that we are students, masters. We're on this journey. Okay? So don't look at us as like they think they know it all.
Uh,
We don't know it all.
since you brought that up, there is one thing. So been studying the Tao, right?
Hmm.
And the 33rd verse. Oh my goodness. I just really, I'm so glad you said that. It said who one who understands others has knowledge. One who understands himself has wisdom.
Mm.
So think about that for a second.
Think about
Think
that.
about that.
A transparent moment for you guys. For me, I'm starting a new practice. So I'm studying. I'm practicing. Right. This new thing I'm trying to accomplish in my journey. And I was telling my daughters about it. And my youngest was like, Mom, you giving up? And I was like, I stood there and I was thinking, and she was like, that ain't like you. And I thought to myself, it's not you at all. But that doubt was starting to creep in, you know? And she did what I do to her. Mama, you can do whatever you put your mind to. Me, that video you sent me, it was a while back. Quitters never win, winners never quit.
That's exactly when you said it. That's what I had in mind. I was like, ooh, ooh, don't let me.
Had to like literally. I looked at her and I said, "Baby, I got it. I'm not
That was
quitting."
that was Lisa Nichols, her story about winners never. Yeah. So if anybody hasn't heard that, check that out. Like
That
it
out.
really will. And look at that. So planting the seeds. Not only did you hear, there was a few seeds that was shared right there, and bear great fruit, because not only did you plant that to your child, your daughter, so that she could reflect back to you, right?
Back
Because
to
your
me.
child is but a reflection. But you planted that seed, so you told her this, and she's like, well, look, mom, and you were like, yeah, a winner. What am I talking about? Doubt. And that's what starts to happen. All that condition, because that's really what that is. It's not going to happen overnight. She's been doing this work for a long time, and she's amazing. But again, like anyone, because we are students, like she said, that doubt can start to creep back in. As long as you know that that is not what he promised you. Okay, that's not part of his plan. That is not part of the I am. So yes, have that awareness of what you put behind that, and it'll bring you back to who you truly are.
Like Reverend Ike say, cross it out.
Yep.
Cross it out.
Y'all gonna be crossing out and getting rid of stuff that just don't belong to you.
That don't belong to
And that's how you'll start to, in the beginning, you'll be like, well, what do I even believe? Yeah, it's gonna be careful, because when you get into that, it just really, but then times like this, you'll start to be able to create your own beliefs, because well, that's doubt. That don't belong to me. That's not mine. It may have been handed to me or given to me. I'm giving it back. No, thank you. No, thank you. And then you start to just pick up what you believe is what was promised to you, your birthright. You know what I'm saying? So, but we're reclaiming what belongs to us, and we're giving back what does not. And that feels good. It feels good because you can start to focus on self. So as individuals, as part of the all, that oneness that you mentioned, and we're all just, we're all in this together doing the work.
If you're even listening to this channel right now, you have heard of affirmations, right? Affirming things. Words are powerful. They are powerful. They are spelling. Your words is a spell, okay? So when you affirm things, that ties straight into belief, because beliefs will always awaken what you affirm. So if I'm affirming something and I don't believe it, that's not gonna work together. I have to truly believe it and feel it, baby. Feeling gets the blessing.
Feeling gets the blessing. Feeling gets the blessing, right? So the more you do stuff that feels good to you, you're not even gonna want that stuff that like, man, you're gonna be mad at yourself. You put up with all that that didn't feel good, that wasn't yours, that belonged to someone else, that like all of that energy that just weighed you down and made you have doubts and fears and worries and judge yourself, all of those things that was not your, you start to just slowly release it and start allowing that goodness just to magnetize and come to you. And then when you get that, you get back in that state of, oh, this feel good. I want more. Is this, you woke, now what? Okay, you woke, now what? Guess what? You starting all over from the beginning, your baby. Brand new beginnings. Throw everything out. Throw it out. Rebirth. It's a death and a rebirth. Like
death and a rebirth. Like
the butterfly, exactly. And like the butterfly, it's a process. There's stages.
At the end of the day, it's about choices. And although some may not agree, although some may hate it, they may not understand it, you have to make a choice for you. Once you start to open that door, that mind, that heart, so hard to close it, probably impossible. And I don't even say things are impossible. But listen, once it's open,
you can't go back. Can't go back. You can't go back. Once it's open, you can't go back. And really, are you really gonna want to go back? Because your true self is gonna be nudging at you, like we can do that.
No, another thing that we have to mention, that once you start working on yourself, and I'm gonna take this to the Bible. Jesus fasted for 40 days. Who is the first person quote unquote, he saw right after he fasted? The devil. Right? We all know that story. So that symbolism of fasting for the 40 days is basically the work. He put in some work for something, for some type of enlightenment, for some type of growth of himself. He put in that work. And as soon as he put in that work or started to put in that work, guess what happened? He meet this so-called, quote unquote, bad energy or bad person, whatever. Whatever you want to call the devil, which does not exist. But that's another episode. But the more, when you start to work on yourself, like we were talking about earlier, you're going to start seeing those reflections pop up. And you're going to be like, damn, but I'm working. But no, damn, that's you. And see it. And keep working.
Keep working. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Hold on, let me wrap it up. We got to go out with some little music. Hold on. Let's
Okay.
see.
All right.